panicking. They're jumping up and down.
I think the Prime Minister got it kind of confused.
On top of that, he lies, flat out lies.
It was unbelievable.
Ridiculous. Self-defense with firearms in Canada. Very sensitive topic, and rest assured that when people see it, their heads are going to blow up. These people, these leftists, their whole strategy is just outrage, and basically it's like they're panicking, they're jumping up and down, waving their arms, screaming and yelling, crying, totally falling apart, and they're looking around hoping that other people are going to fall apart too. Like, that's their whole strategy. And that's where this faux outrage comes. And the thing is, the outrage takes place in conversations that should just be, spoken in a reasonable manner with reasonable people, right? Like, self-defense a thing in Canada? Of course it's a thing. Are you obligated? Is the state obligating you to just die at the hands of criminals? And in some ways, yes, because the process is the punishment in Canada. They'll run you through the process, but ultimately you have a right not to be assaulted, raped, or murdered. Like, I think you do. I think a lot of people agree with me. I think a small group of people think that you don't have that right. And if the state can't save you, well, you're a victim, too bad. And you actually just become something that they can use to further that bad situation in Canada, right? Because everyone that's murdered or assaulted becomes a cautionary tale. Well, we need more gun control. We need to be weaker. It's funny. It works both ways for them, right? It's heads I win, tails you lose. I have this clip, and you know what? We'll analyze it in a second. Check it out.
We didn't have a Wild West. We don't have a constitutional right to bear arms in Canada. The Americans do. I think the Prime Minister got it kind of confused. And for a Prime Minister of Canada to suggest that we have firearms to protect ourselves from our fellow citizens was unbelievable. We have always, as a culture, accepted the fact that we have an ability to have firearms legally for hunting, for target practice, for collecting, but never so that we can shoot our fellow citizens who may knock on the door or want to come in unwelcome. And in fact, the federal government has a bill now before Parliament called the Common Sense Gun Licensing Act, or Firearm Licensing Act, and it is loosening up the rules for when people with pistols can carry them and where.
I just find that completely amazing. What an amazing clip. I guess I didn't set it up before I played it, but basically in 2015, Stephen Harper said, my wife's from a rural area and guns weren't just for the farm. They were also for a sense of security when you're away from police assistance. He said that, and people like Craig Oliver and the other Bob, see them all like, oh yeah, this is just, it's insane. The idea that you protect yourself if someone's going to rape, assault, or murder you is just ridiculous. If a woman that's 5 foot tall and 90 pounds can't fight off a 225-pound drug addict as he's trying to rape or murder or kill her, and she reaches for a gun, I couldn't think of anything more outrageous. Like, I don't know what's gone wrong with people in Canada, and I think it's taken decades to get people to this point where they reject. They don't know what's real and what isn't anymore. So not only is this elitist Craig Oliver like one of the worst people as far as I'm concerned, because the damage isn't just that he's ignorant. The damage is that his outrage spreads to other people because it's via the news, right? Via television. And television, despite how much that they pulled the mask off and people can see what it's all about there's a lot of people still very heavily influenced when they see something on television. On top of that, he lies, flat out lies. And he's referring to Bill C-42, the Common Sense Firearms Licensing Act back in 2015. And he says, the conservatives are loosening up regulations on how people can carry pistols and where. Like, it's a flat out lie. If you guys don't know the truth is the paper ATT, which is an authorization, I guess you could call it. But basically you need an authorization to take your restricted firearm, so a handgun, unloaded, trigger lock, in a locked case, driving to and from the range in the most reasonably direct route in the circumstances is how the regulation is worded. You need a piece of paper with you or you're a criminal, which was the ATT, was a physical piece. The change in Bill C-42 was the ATT still exists. All the conditions of the ATT still exist, but you don't have to carry the physical piece of paper with you. That was the change.
Remember, if you don't stand up for your own ability to own and use firearms, who will? Join the CCFR or donate right now at www.firearmrights.ca.